I'm hoping that's better. Thank you for telling me you can't hear me. Is that better? Okay, good. Thank you. It's on. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, my son. Okay, so let's get started. So come on over to the mat. I'm going to take my phone too because it sounds like we're having some trouble tonight. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to target the lower back and really get into some calming and grounding. We have so much chatter going on in our world and in our minds that it's really nice. It's really nice to be able to find calm, peace. Isn't it funny that I'm saying that as I'm texting like a crazy person? Okay, so what we're doing is sitting still. So whatever you've had going on today, maybe you've been standing all day, maybe you've been sitting, maybe you're feeling lethargic, maybe you're feeling super energized. Just bring it all. Whatever you have going on. And before I forget to mention, since you didn't hear me, if you hit the little logo at the bottom of the screen, I think it's on the left side, you're going to get an email that these streams are starting. That way you don't have to hunt down the link every time. And that will make it easier for you. So just sit still. Just sit still for a moment. So sutra number 1 in our Yoga Sutras says that now is the time for yoga. So be here now. But our mind wants us to be in the future, wants us to ponder the past. How do we be here right now? So we're just going to stop moving. And we're going to turn on the antennas of our ears, really listen to the sounds in the room around you. You could be sitting in a chair, on the floor. Listening to all the sounds around you. Sit still for a moment. Maybe that includes a big ol' exhale, big sigh. How many sounds can you hear? Without trying to tell any stories or any narratives about anything happening around you, just see if you can take it all in equally, not any preference at all. No special treatment to any specific noises, not seeking anything out, just being like a microphone, just taking it all in. Sit still for a moment. And as you sit still for a moment, I want to remind you that making time to sit still for a moment is really difficult to do. It is hard to pause. So take a couple rounds of breath and truly acknowledge for yourself that you made it here. You made it to the mat. You made it time for you to inner gaze, for you to check in with yourself. It's not easy to do, but you did it. So just take a couple of breaths on that, being here with yourself, being here together, but also being here with yourself, checking in. Let's see if we can stretch out our inhales a little bit. Just start to ponder that inhale. See if you can create a pattern where it's inhaling for 4, 5, or 6, stretching it out a little bit. And then letting those exhales go, letting the shoulders go. We've got about 5 more breaths. Just sit still for a moment and watch yourself breathe. Be here now, right now. You can probably see the chatter of your mind wanting you again to jump to the future, go to the past, start making critical judgments and hypothesis and all that. Just keep bringing it down, watching my stretching of the inhale and the relaxing of the shoulders on the exhale. Be here right now, sitting still for a moment. Beautiful. Are you here? Are you here all the way, focusing on right now, being with yourself? I hope so. Okay, what I'd like to do, as I said, we've got lower back stuff for many people, and I want to just target the lower back, but most of us are very tight in the lower back. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take both blocks and we're going to stand them up, and then we're going to come to standing also. Okay, and we're going to play with this idea of the posterior tightness that holds us back from being able to touch your toes. So if you have difficulty touching your toes, then you're going to love today because it's going to really point out how you're not good at touching your toes. Doesn't that sound fun? So we just want to notice if it's, where it is on our back body that it creates this feeling that we can't touch our toes. And if you sit all day long, then this is that posture, right? This starts to get short. This starts to get overstretched and taxed. And so we just want to notice that. And that's what we're going to play with. So I want you to take your hands right here, right at the tops of your thighs. And I want you to feel this hinge. So let's pretend we're going to sit in a chair. Go in and out of that a couple of times. Do you feel how your thumb can kind of slide into that spot? I like to call it the quarter slots. You could even put a little quarter in there. There's space. Okay. So with our toes looking straight forward and the outer heels dropping down, plus the plugging of the toes, start to pull those thighs back and see if you can pretend you're reaching for a stool. I used to say, if there was one thing that I wish everybody in the world knew, it would be this right here. Because look how nice and flat my back stays when I reach from the thigh bones pulling back rather than this. You see the difference? This bend over and then this bend over. I'm able to keep lumbar spine with integrity. Okay, from here, go ahead and bring your belly to the thighs. Your knees can be as bent as you need them. Just double check that your toes are not behind your knees. Your knees are sitting right on those ankles. And we're going to take our hands to the blocks. We've got our belly sitting right on the thighs. And yes, this is difficult for many folks who are tight through that lower back or tight through those hamstrings. Remember, making peace in the uncomfortableness is the yoga. Finding a spot where you are really uncomfortable is when it begins for you. That's where you're making the peace. So we're going to stay here, reaching far away for the chair or the blocks, keeping that belly on the thighs. Keep pressing those outer heels down, those big toes plugging in, and then just release the head. Staying here for 12 long breaths. Here we go. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Keep going. Dropping the tailbone, reaching the arms. Some of you can straighten the knees, but I'm challenging you to keep the thighs on that belly.
5 more deep breaths. Your belly is still sitting on those thighs. 2. And 1. Now you get to choose what you want to do. You can hang here in a forward fold and just grab opposite elbows and let yourself relax. Some of you may want to step back into downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths, whatever you want to do here. Just keep breathing, keep stretching out those breaths. One more deep breath. Beautiful. Now walk it back. This is Ardha Uttanasana, this halfway up. We're going to walk it up, and I want you to take your hands to your thighs. Remember your quarter slots, and slowly, 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 slowly come back, okay? We're going to do that again, but we're going to add a little something, something, okay? So we have the outer heels dropping down plus the big toes. There's a very tiny little internal rotation here with the toes being a little closer. Tiny bit, hardly noticeable. The inner thighs are rolling, okay? We've got the nice neutral tilt of the pelvis. And we're going to take our hands on our thighs here and we're going to push our feet down. Now, we have a pad here underneath the big toe, the pinky toe, and then the front of the heel. We have like a 3-prong here, like a plug going into a socket. See if you can plug your 3-prong into the floor as you're pushing those hands down. So those quarter slots are dropping, right? There's lots of space between the pelvis and the thigh bones. And you're feeling the evenly dispersing of weight in that foot. You're not leaning on the pinkies. You're not dumping in the heels. You're finding the front of the heel, the big toe, and the pinky toe. You could even lift the toes, right? You still have an arch to the foot. And we're feeling that pressing down. Okay, now from here, go ahead and bring your belly on the thighs again. Bring your belly on the thighs again and touch your arches. Inhale, take your hands and slide them up to the inner knee, and then exhale, return down. Inhale, slide the hands up to the inner knee, and exhale down. So this is nice when you use your hands. It helps the body understand a little bit more what's happening. Reaching up through the inner knee and back down. Last one, up through the inner knee. Now take your hands right at the base of your kneecap, at the very base of the kneecap, and imagine you're pulling the knees up at the same dynamic energy as you're pushing the feet down. Your shins are growing up. Your shins are lifting as you're pronging down. Keep that action. Keep that action. Keep lifting the quads up, 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 holding that firm. And we're going to do Ardha Uttanasana again. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Shins are lifting, quarter slots are dropping. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Find your blocks again and play with that action. How do I feel grounded in the floor? How do I feel held by the floor? My bottoms of my kneecaps are lifting. My thighs are dropping and my belly is on the thighs. Here we go. 8 breaths. See if you can reach the pinky fingers away from the armpits. Finding a teeter-totter action between the pelvis and the head. And just letting the day go. Keep lifting those bottoms of the knees. This is not relaxing. We're very dynamic here. Keeping that belly on the thighs. It's challenging to breathe into the belly, so it kind of encourages us to breathe into our backside. 2 more. 1 more. Beautiful. Take your hands down to the floor, or if you're feeling strong on those blocks, go ahead and bring your knees down. Let's check in on a half split. So taking your left foot forward, knee is sitting right over the ankle. If you need a little pad for your knee, be sure you grab that. Okay, start to straighten out this left hip. We're pushing through the big toe. That prong action, that 3-prong is still going that way, but the outer hip is moving back. How are you? Feel that deep breath. And holding here. See if you can stretch out that breath a little bit more. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, start to walk yourself down. I know this is a challenging pose for many folks. Backs are tight, hamstrings are tight. Like, who wants to do this? This isn't fun, right? It's not fun, but it really is, because once you start to sit in it and start making peace with it, you're going to start to see a lot of other deeper awarenesses here. Take a big inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, make peace with that chaos. 8 breaths. Once you find the alignment of this pose, you're going to stop doing the pose and just practicing bringing that belly to the thigh and practice reaching through all the way through that lower back. And feel the work day gripping in those hamstrings, right? Bring your attention to it with the breath and see if you can relax a little bit. And if you can't be on your knees, you can always be doing this from the standing position again. Two more deep breaths. I hear all the time, I'm not flexible for yoga. I can't get to yoga. My life is too busy. All the excuses that we make, go ahead and shift. But I like to remind folks that this is not the yoga. This pose is not the yoga. The yoga is the work with the mind. So this pose gives us some attention of what we're doing in our mind. All right, so let's go get this prong going again. We want to make sure that we have a nice alignment. Hip is sitting over that knee. Big, long inhale and exhale, forward fold. And what I mean is that everything you're thinking as you're struggling in this pose is seeing how you think. I'll say that again. Everything that you're thinking while you're in this pose are the things that you think. So you get to see what you think. We're thinking about what we think about, right? And you're making choices of what thoughts you want to keep and what thoughts you want to let go of. Choosing spacious thought, choosing a relaxing thought, choosing a thought that encourages a deeper breath. Practicing this nurturing ourselves, spending some quality time, trying something new. And maybe your pose is way up here. That's okay too, right? All right, now we're going to come back to hands and knees, and we're going to roll ourselves onto our bottom, and we're going to do the same thing, but from
this side. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to bend the knees. You're going to keep the feet and knees hip distance apart, so there's space between the knees and the ankles. And you want to feel yourself interlace behind those thighs. Again, you're going to glue that belly to the thighs. Some folks can start to walk their feet out and keep those bellies on the thighs. Some of you might find that you need a strap, that you're pretty far away from those feet. And this is what you're working on. We're still trying to find those quarter slots where the thigh bones are pulling down and we're lifting up. So that's the secret sauce. Now look here for a moment. If I don't try to create that, look what happens to my lower back. I get that curve, same position I've been in all day. But if I pull my thigh bones down and I turn my pelvis behind me, look at that flat back I get, right? So we're learning how to turn that pelvic floor behind us, keeping our belly on the thighs, grabbing your strap or your feet. 12 deep breaths. Here we go. Sitting in the uncomfortableness, perhaps. Just noticing yourself, noticing your breath going to the tight spots. Turning the tailbone behind you and the heart to the toes. Sit still for a moment. Notice. About 5 more breaths. Maybe you're getting a little bit more length in those legs or in the back or in the neck. Feel calmed, steady. Yes, it's tight. You know why it's tight? Because you don't stretch it. It's tight because you don't stretch it. So you got to stretch it and then it won't be tight. 2 more deep breaths. You got this. Beautiful. And then we're going to slowly come on up. And we're going to now do it from the back with our strap. If you need a pillow, grab your pillow. We're going to take our right leg to the sky, hook the strap around it. Bonus points if you did that transition without lifting your head. And I'd like you to have the loop tight enough that you can keep your elbows straight. So keeping your elbows straight. Some of you will open up that bottom leg. And we're going to aim the ankle right over the hip. Even if we can bring it closer to the face, let's challenge ourselves to keep it right over the hip. Find that prong, that 3-point prong, the big toe, the pinky toe, and the front of the heel. Feel those shoulder blades evenly dispersing weight on the ground. Maybe your leg is shaking. Just notice yourself here and keep walking towards breath. See if you can find deep breaths. 8 times. We're going to sit still for a moment together. Every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, 30 minutes just to say hello to our bodies and our breaths and noticing our thoughts. Every Sunday at 2, there's a restorative 20-minute class. You can put that in your calendar. It's a really nice thing on Sundays.
Just free to you to start bringing that yoga mind into your daily life. Now go ahead and cross that leg over just a little tiny bit. So you're not so much that you're lifting that right hip up. Find those quarter slots again. Push that thigh away from you. See if you can lengthen out that spine a little bit more. And breathe. If you want to do a full class, I have a Keep Your Light On series. Know about it. But if you don't get it, you can email me or leave me a chat here and I'll respond. You could make that time schedule too, where you're getting on the mat on a regular basis. You're learning something new. You're being vulnerable, right? You're being courageous by being vulnerable. You're transforming by putting yourself in some challenges, whether that's doing a specific pose or just putting time in the calendar or learning something new. One more deep breath. And gently come up. Let's go ahead and switcheroo. Straighten out. 8 breaths here. Same thing. Trying to find relaxation. Where do you feel like you're holding back? See if you can find steadiness. And we're sitting still for a moment again together. And I love hearing from you. So those of you who are sending me emails after class or the next day, I love hearing from you. Please let me know. What's your feedback? What do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to see more of? I want this to be serving for you. I want you to love yoga, honestly, because I love it so much. I want you to love it. So what can I do to help you feel more confident or more comfortable or more steady? I'd love to hear from you. 2 more breaths. And again, subscribe to the channel, and that way you get an email, you get that reminder that it's starting. Okay, go ahead and switch. Now we're going to cross it over. Again, not so much that we're lifting up. We got that quarter slot and we're pushing away. I said at the very beginning of the class, if there was one thing I wish everybody in the world knew, it's that. It's this idea that the thigh bone is moving away from you. We've got length between the thigh bone and the pelvis. That's the hinge. That's going to really help that lower back. Take 3 more breaths here. Can you feel the floor just holding you so near and dear? One more deep breath. And when it's time to come out, come on out. Toss that strap away. Go ahead and bring your knees to bend. And let's just windshield wiper our knees side to side. Just wash that away. Just moving side to side. And then one of the things I like to do is when you're moving side to side, maybe you'll find that you'll take this over and you could press this bottom foot down, lift the glutes up, and then relax them down. And then lift up, 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 and down, 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 down. And lift up, 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 up. I know some of you are doctors, that you're working in hospitals during this time. It's massively stressful. I know some of you are elementary school teachers and you have a lot of stress on your plate. So I just want to say I am so glad that you're taking this 20, 30 minutes to just check in with your body. I'm encouraging you to use this as a kickstart. After we finish our class, maybe you'll stay here on the mat and you'll just keep exploring. Let's go to the other side and pressing that foot down, lifting it up and down. Up. Some of you are PTs, OTs. Most of you people helping people. That's what you do. You help people. So taking time to nourish yourself is so important. I love to say it's one of the most loving things we can do is to take care of ourselves. It's so good for the people around us. All right, come on into your happy baby pose, grabbing whatever you can reach. Shake it out.
Yeah, that's the end of our time. That time goes very quickly. Taking some time to finish up your breaths. Maybe you're finished. Maybe you want to close up your class. Maybe you're going to stay and play a little bit longer. Coming to a place that feels like a good stopping point, or keep going. Checking in. Starting now to make your exhales a little bit longer than the inhales. That's a nice way to slowly bring in relaxation, a Visamavriti pattern. If you've been breathing in for 4, start to exhale for 6. Or you've been breathing in for 6, start to exhale for 8. Start to let go. All right. I will see you next time. Deep bows to you all. Thanks for coming. Namaste.